Hey, I'm gonna do a video about orbs today. And I think there might be some in the room. So check it out. Hey everybody, it is I again, and I'm making a video of, as I said, about orbs. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Let's just get started. I've had a couple of people request, I've had one person actually request that we talk about orbs and explain what they are. So that's what I'm doing. And I've had a couple of letters or emails to my website talking about orbs, and like, there's orbs in these pictures. How do you explain that, buddy? And I can, because I have experience with photography. So I'm going to show you a little diagram of how that works. And I'll go ahead and, just before I do that, I'm just going to tell you there's two things that you will always see in an orb photograph. One, the first thing, you will always see that the orb photograph is taken with a flash. You'll never see an orb photograph, at least not a real orb photograph, that wasn't taken with some kind of flash. Secondly, it's going to be focused in the distance. There's going to be something making the camera focus far away, like the end of a bridge or a tree or something far away, at least maybe 20, 30 feet away from the camera or more, to infinity. And then, so that's how that works. And here's a diagram explaining exactly how that works. Okay, well, let's take a look at some of these slides. What we see here is kind of your basic setup. You've got the thing that you're trying to take a photograph of, which in this case is a cemetery with a tree. And we'll say the camera is quite some distance away. If we're focusing on the area in the distance, which is the tombstones and the tree here, that area is going to be in focus. And just because of the nature of focal areas, which I'm sure you've seen in the past, there's also going to be, as you see on the left, a out of focus area. So anything in that area is going to be out of focus. Okay, now we add the slide, or add the flash to this. The flash comes over, and this, like I was saying before, you will always see a flash in these photos. These photos will always have been taken with a flash. This flash covers the entire area. But the initial, of course, the light travels across. The first thing that flash is going to hit is anything in the area right in the front there, where I've got marked as the out of focus area. And of course, it'll hit all of the in focused area things too. But what's important about what we're talking about here is the out of focus area. Now, if there's some dust in this situation, now the dust particles are going to be smaller than this, but this is just for information here. If dust or anything, water droplets or dust, get into the out of focus area, then it's going to, the light is going to hit it. And when you hit something with light, just like you hit in the trees on the other end, the light is going to reflect back into the camera, because that's how the camera works. And that's exactly what the dust particles do, is reflect back into the camera. Now, the light from the flash hits those dust particles, and as you can see the arrows here, that light will flash back right into the camera. And this is a view of what what you're seeing. If the area right in front of the camera is in focus, as we see on the left, you're going to see the blur in the distance, but you're going to see something very small right in front of the camera. Now, sometimes that's so small that you can't even see it in the camera. But if you look on the right side here, if it's out of focus right in front of the camera and you're focusing on the end there, then you see as you have probably seen with a million things, and you can see with the trees on the left side there, once something is out of focus, its edges tend to spread. So something that you would see as a dot on the right would then have its edges spread with the light, and this effect, of course, is amplified by the fact that it's bathed in the hot light of the flash, so it's going to look bigger, and that's what you see here. Here's a few examples of what I'm talking about here. The real life examples. Okay, what I've done here is I've pasted a tablet, just a regular old like pill, to a book, and now I have the camera focused close to me, so it looks like a pretty clear little dot there. And you can also see that in the distance the things are blurry because the camera's not focused there. Look what happens when I focus on the distance and leave it close to me. And at focus, you can see the things in the distance are much clearer, but again, right next to the camera, things are very blurry. And you see that white dot is no longer a sharp, round shape. Now it's fuzzy and larger. If I bring that a little closer to the camera, you can see that distortion just gets huge. And it's really difficult to tell now what it is. And that's just because it's close to the camera and the focus is far away. And that's what I'm talking about. Here's a few pictures that I took of focused at the other end of the room, and what I've done is I've sprayed some water in front of the camera, and you'll see here that off to the right there is a pretty big orb, and it has designs and patterns in it, which are commonly what people say. Oh no, this has such an intricate little pattern in it. And there's one over to the right. Oh, sorry, one to the right is what I'm talking about, the big one. There's one over to the left here, the blue, that looks like it's an anomalous one, but of course that's just the reflection of the blue part of that water, of that particular prism. And if you look at all of them, you can see that any of these individually, if seen in a photograph, could very easily be called an orb. And in reality, it's just water sprayed in front of the camera and it being out of focus. And here's another similar picture that I took with more orby goodness floating around, and a few others. That is my explanation there. If you have any questions, any doubts, any contradictions, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any other ghosty photos that you'd like me to examine, let me know. That's going to be it. I will talk to you all later. Have a good night.